Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and this is one of those videos that's not so much about the gameplay. Instead, I thought I would sit here and talk about two lessons I picked up in the professional world. So the first one I've talked about on my channel before. I'm gonna give kind of the fast forward version of it because I have this balance to strike between people who didn't see that video, which is probably most of you, and guys who don't want to be bored by old men telling the same stories again and again. So the first one is this concept of being solution oriented, and let's talk about that. So if you fast forward 10 years ago, to this younger, bigger jackass version of myself, I felt like I had this special talent at seeing what other people did wrong. I thought I had an insight, and that the rest of the world was walking around blindly, not realizing the mistakes they were making, while I, on the other hand, had X-ray glasses that could see the mistakes that other people were making. This is a peek into the mind of the young version of Woody. And so what I would do is, at work, kind of tell them where they were making their mistakes. What? You doing this? That doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't have done that. And that would be kind of the whole thing, that I don't think that what you're doing is very good. And what I didn't do is offer a better way to do it. I thought that, that was enough in itself. Just to say, what you're doing could be done better without telling them how they could do it better. And I had this manager at the time, Michelle, and she said, you need to be solution oriented. And the first time I heard solution oriented, I just sort of categorized it with so many of the other stupid things I had heard managers say. Some crap about paradigm shift, some crap about the funnel or whatever that was really just nonsense that needed to be disregarded. And over the next couple of weeks, it kind of sunk in with me more. Like, oh, you know what? I think they're right. I think she's onto something. The truth is, any idiot can sort of identify problems with somebody else. If you want to actually be somebody special, if you want to actually have some value, then rather than just finding problems, you'll be finding solutions. That was kind of my big takeaway. To apply it to the gaming world, when I see people say, Black Ops just isn't fun, I think to myself, oh man, if I was on the development team, I'd be kind of frustrated by advice like that because it's not really actionable, really not fun. I know I personally have fun playing it. I had fun last night, but when it comes to actionable, they should give more specific advice. Like Blame Truth is a really neat example. He came up with this video on how he would have rebalanced the guns. And you watch the whole thing and you're like, wow, here's a guy who put serious thought into what he would do to make the game better. Now, the developers didn't really jump on it. But, there's a guy who came up with solutions instead of just saying, this gun sucks, that gun's too much, or whatever, without really saying, here's how I would address it, here's how I'd make things better. So that was kind of my first professional life lesson, and it's an old one. I have a newer one that's only popped up in the most recent couple of months, and it was the one that inspired me to make this video. And so here it is. It's the notion that professional relationships are founded on top of personal relationships. So here's the thinking behind that. The younger version of me felt like work just stands on its own. I am Woody's Gamertag. I am freaking awesome at work, and my work reflects that, and that's all they'll ever be. That was the line of thinking. So, and behind that, it was like, I didn't need to know you. I don't even really need to learn your name. I am superstar Woody's Gamertag, and that's that. And that served me pretty well, for a long time. I'm trying not to be arrogant about this, but I work pretty hard. I, try to get educated and do my thing. And that sort of thing helps me get promoted at work faster than some of my peers and get on prime projects that get you the visibility you need. When it comes to doing work, I do fine, right? But I've recently come to realize, like, there's more that you can do. If and that's the idea where professional relationships are founded on top of personal ones. So here's the thinking. If the personal relationship isn't there, and someone is in a position to, grade you or criticize you, or maybe they're even like your customer, internal or external, but they serve as your customer, then and the personal relationship wasn't there, then they can find mistakes. It doesn't matter how great you are. They will somehow find a hole. And if that personal relationship isn't there, if the personal relationship is there and there is a mistake, then the opposite happens. They give you the benefit of the doubt. So that's kind of what I've come to realize lately, that personal relationship is so key. So my manager was telling me about it, and when I first heard it, I was like, oh gosh, here he goes again, wanting me to set up these pointless one-on-ones. One-on-one is a term we use where I work for a meeting with just two people in it. And I just sit there and never know what to say, wave hi like I'm Forrest Gump, kind of awkwardly, and, do you want to know what I'm working on? Kind of conversation. Now I see what it's really all about. Now I see that, and by the way, my boss has had a lot of career success too. Perhaps why he's my boss. And looking back at it, kind of doing this analysis, I see, oh, you know what? I think one of the reasons that he does so well is this is maybe his strongest skill set. This is a guy who manages those personal relationships and doesn't have guys just sort of seeking out mistakes that he maybe makes. And so let me put this in action a little bit. Here's how software is made. Somebody comes up with an idea, right? That this is my business problem and I need it solved. And then we kind of narrow down that idea a bit, and then they go to the software architect, which is me, and that guy comes up with the solution on the idea. How we're going to get it done, and then the next phase after that is the development team. They kind of implement it. And I used to be the guy in that development team. You get promoted a couple times, then you become that guy who comes up with the solution, the one who directs the development team and tells them how they can do it. Guides them, gives them little leadership there, in terms of technical and like management leadership. So, picture yourself as the guy who comes up with the solution to the business problem, and then you spend the next year kind of defending it and explaining it. And then you spend the following year after that partnering up with the development team, making sure that they do what they're supposed to and have all their questions answered. If those personal relationships aren't there, and you're spending the next year sort of saying, here's how you can do this, here's how this can be solved, then the opportunity to find some sort of problem never goes away. The opportunity to say, look, I think this could be better, without any details around it, never goes away. You kind of need those personal relationships so that they look at your output through, I don't want to say less critical, right? That implies that the work shouldn't be good, right? The work should stand on its own. But no work can completely stand on its own if people are just, backstabby, looking for problems. So yeah, professional relationships are built on top of personal relationships. They will be huge, and it kind of comes down to make sure that in the workplace, when anybody hears your name, they think, I would like to work with that guy. My project would be awesome if I had that guy on it. And there's two phases of it. One, actually produce really good work, and two, be the kind of guy that somebody wants to be with all the time, because that's going to happen at work. So anyway, I thought I would share that sort of new lesson I picked up a few months ago on how personal relationships inform the professional ones, and how they color the way that people look at what you're doing. So yeah, if I were to sum it all up, don't be a D-bag at work, and people will like the actual output of your stuff better. Have a nice day.